This is the end of February. Does she go into Libra? Yeah, let's find out. Here we go. Welcome, everybody. How are you doing? This is G. We're going to take a look at Blackmoonlilith again. We've got some questions on the channel. They're good questions. And I also realized we were looking at charts in the Starry Night Live every Saturday at 9 p.m. Unless something crazy happens. I'm here, okay? Could be your chart, but you got to be there. And you got to get your digits, you got to get your stuff to me ahead of time. With that said, we were looking at charts, and Blackmoonlilith was doing some stuff, and we thought, holy crap, it doesn't make sense, because I had just put up a video about Blackmoonlilith, and I was using a chart from another software, and I loved it because it showed us like the bigger picture of her cycles. And so we were able to gauge Blackmoonlilith going and doing her dance from Virgo to Leo, like, going the back and forth thing. Well, now Lilith is entering the stage where she's in the latter degrees of Virgo and then going into Libra. And so the charts show that she goes into Libra in June. Or does she? So here it is. And I see Blackmoonlilith is here. I've got a circle around her. Go to Virgo energy on this chart. Like, here's my cursor. And then Blackmoonlilith is in Virgo at 9 degrees. So a few days ago, she was like at 16 degrees. She was conjunct Juno. When we were on the Starry Night Live, that was the thing, right? And I realized that her cycle, she's gone below 9, but now she's moving direct. You see? She was retrograding then. The numbers are in black, so she's moving direct. And the question is, when does she go back into Libra? Or when did she go into Libra? We thought it was going to be in June. So I'm just going to move this chart and let you guys see it as it moves. So in 1 week's time, remember, this is the 22nd, Thursday. Black moon is at 9 degrees in Virgo. And look how fast she moved. Look at this. February 29th, Blackmoonlilith, 29 degrees, 59 minutes in Virgo. The question is, does she start a retrograde here and go and stay in Virgo? Or this is the end of February. Does she go into Libra? Yeah, let's find out. So it's the next day, March 1st, Blackmoonlilith enters Libra. Do you see that? Holy smokes. All right, so we got her at 1 degrees and 40 minutes already in Libra energy. We're going to go ahead another day. She's at 2:31. And look there's her retrograde. She stops on March 3rd. Blackmoonlilith is at 2 degrees and 22 minutes. You see? And she retrogrades back. Now, remember, she can move fast, right? So when does she get back to Virgo? She's retrograding now in Virgo at 29 degrees, March 5th, 2024. You see that? Let me see if she'll light up for you. There she is. 29. Back in Virgo again. So she dips into Libra for just a little bit. It's just the first day of the month. And then she starts retrograding. And by March 5th already, right? By the 5th day of the month, she's back in Virgo. Let's see what her cycle is. She's still retrograding. She stays retrograding. She stays retrograding. We're already entering the second week of March here. She's conjunct Juno again. March 13th, March 12th, March 13th, Blackmoonlilith conjunct Juno in Virgo. Right, Virgo, health, day-to-day routines. This can be pets. This can be your job, right? Your tasks, the honey-do list, the to-do list, the projects around the house. It's Virgo, so it's domestic, but it can also be, right, the jobs and the projects at your job, literally, right? Could be the gut health. And there she is, 10 degrees, 8 degrees, still retrograding. Like, this chick moves through one sign so fast. And it's the moon. It's Blackmoonlilith. So what about that? Well, we have to remember feminine energy. We have to remember home and family and emotions. What else do we need to remember? We need to remember that Virgo energy wants perfection. So we can be extremely critical of others and of ourselves. when it comes to the day-to-day routines. And you know what? I'm going to give you some examples. Like I know here, I can't give you examples of how it is in your home. I can't give examples of how it is in anybody else's home, right? And it's home because it's domestic and work. Well, I've told you guys many times that my housemates have multiple jobs, right? So some of those jobs they have, like their second or their third job, a lot of the stuff is done in the house. So there's a lot going on in this household, right? Sometimes there's three of us sharing this one room for recording purposes or being on Zoom meetings, right? Right. And so it comes down to who's doing what, when, what tools are needed. Virgo, what tools are needed. A good example, my housemate the other day, he works with his church in addition to his regular 9 to 5 job. He works with his church. He handles the electronic stuff. They have like an online presence. And so he didn't have a tripod tool. He needed a tripod. So he asked to borrow the tripod. Sure. Virgo energy borrowed the tripod, right? And so that's a small example, but then we think about the criticalness of that, right? And how is Virgo and Virgo wanting perfection? Well, it depends on where your Virgo energy is in your chart. Like what house number is it in? You see? So give some examples for how has Virgo, how has Black Moon Lilith, my emotions, and um, maybe being a little bit more critical and more about the details and forgetting to look at the bigger picture because Virgo can be so much about the minutia, she forgets about the macro, right? Focuses so much on the micro that it's the backing up and looking at the big picture, right? Like Virgo and Jupiter, Virgo and Saggy usually don't get along. They're usually like oil and water because Virgo wants the minutia and the details, and it might get fixated on the details and the minutia. And Saggy is just like, oh my God, come on already. Like, look at the big picture. It's not that serious. Like, just chill. Like, let's just do this. Saggy would rather forget the details, to be honest. Saggy feels bogged down by the details, right? But the Virgo is just like, but wait a minute. These freaking details matter, damn it, you know? So that energy can be difficult. Now, some of you might be like, well, no, it hasn't been a thing. It's not been a big bother. Well, you likely probably have a lot of stuff in Earth because that means like this black moon can actually help. It can actually support your Taurus and your Capricorn energy. Things kind of just easily happen, right? It sends trine energy. And yes, sometimes that trine energy, it just makes anything easily happen. So it can be positive and negative. Very true. But it should kind of help support the stability in some way. As an example, my housemate who was trying to who had to go do this thing for the church didn't know, I guess, till the night before that he needed a tripod and didn't have one. And so suddenly, like, here I am starting my live stream at 9 o'clock and there's a knock on the door and it's like, hey, because there are other people already doing that kind of work, it easily worked out for him. Now, for me at that moment, literally pressing the live button, like I just went live and I hear a knock on the door and I had just got off the phone with my mom and I was already running late because it was more of like, okay, why right when I'm going live does everybody suddenly need my attention? I go live at this time every Saturday at the same time, like clockwork. And so it was a kind of an irritation. It wasn't so much about that somebody needed to borrow something. It was like, this couldn't have waited. Like, you didn't know this 5 hours earlier, that kind of thing, that kind of Virgo detail, Black Moon Lilith thing where it looks at the nitpicky and it's, you see what I mean? And it just, yeah, it just goes deeper and deeper and it can get us into trouble. Emotions, Black Moon Lilith, our emotions, things in the home, the practical, the tangible, the detail, and it's work related. Right. And pets too. Like Zoe was driving me crazy. Like there's just a lot of different things. Oh, Taffy, actually that day, Taffy kept following me around, which I don't mind. But it was like I was trying to get the live going other than running behind schedule. And then Taffy demanded to have her massage. Then my mom called and it was like, this was at 15 minutes before. And I was like, well, thank God I had already done some of the backup work for the live. I had charts ready to go and all that stuff, the details. Thankfully, people had done their Virgo work properly and they had contacted me days before I was going live and I already had their charts drawn up. So the details, Thankfully, I prepared and I was on the ball, right? Had I not been, the live would have happened, but it would have been like, oh, guys, I am so sorry. I wasn't prepared. I would have looked like a damn fool. I hadn't been prepared, even though I did have interruptions, right? So we have to I'm just saying this because I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I was that these people had let me know in advance. And so I was able to not have to wait until the moments before the live because well shit seems to always happen moments before the live, right? And so it's always like a, please type of thing. And the Virgo energy in those details and the routines and the habits and the projects and the tasks and the focus on perfection. The focus on perfection. We can get bogged down with those details and get so caught up. We have to find a way to step back. So after the live that night, I still needed to find a way to step back. I had to I used some of my vanilla essence. I think I listened to some music for a little bit because it was just like there was so much shit happening at once. I was a little bit frazzled, like emotionally, not frazzled like I can't take this. I was irritated. I was irritated. It was like my black moon Lilith just felt like, "Are you're joking, right?" Like so I kind of felt like the big cat coming out. Like, could this happen any other time? And it wasn't anything serious. That's the thing. It made a mountain out of something tiny, right? It blew it up, right? Not odd. It blew it up. It made it bigger than it needed to be. Emotions, black moon, and it squares Saggy beliefs. Jupiter. You see? Opposite of Pisces, ancient ruler. Jupiter, you see? And that's why you got Jupiter at the opposite end, you got Jupiter on the right. So always remember the ancient rulers, but the black moon Lilith cycle, just to get back to the chart now, the example, March 17th now, black moon Lilith has stopped retrograding. She stopped at 4 degrees and 50 minutes of Virgo. Now, I haven't done this down to the minutes or the hours. I'm doing this just by the day because I'm trying to make a quick video and give examples. So it's 4 degrees and 50 minutes. She has stopped and now she's going to move forward again. So again, March 17th, she's not retrograding. This is good news, right? Because when she's retrograding, it's a lot more irritable. It's a lot more intense. By the end of March, she went back into Libra energy and she went back into Libra. It looks like March 27th. She is back in Libra. There it is. You see that? So she moves so fast. She's so erratic. She's like an emotional yo-yo. So in Virgo, we always got to like be cautious. But here's the thing. She goes into Libra. She's back in Libra now. How long will she stay in Libra? Let's find out. This is March 27th, back in Libra. We're going ahead to 1 week's time. And in 1 week, it looks like she's already retrograding again. Because this is normal. She kind of reminds me of the moon's nodes, right? So here she is. The retrograde begins almost 1 week later, April 2nd. Again, I'm only doing this by the day. So if I were to break it down to the hour, it's possible that it was on April 1st she started retrograding. Let me go forward a little bit and see. Yep, she's going to go back into Virgo yet again. Yeah. So this time she won't go as far into Virgo because her cycle's changing. And that's how all the planets do it if you pay attention to them. She's already going direct here. Yeah. She reached 16 degrees. She reached 1547, April 16th. She's moving direct in Virgo. So you see the 2 retrogrades prior, she went back to 2 degrees Virgo. And then the next retrograde, she went back to 4 degrees Virgo. So each time she doesn't go as deeply into Virgo. And here she stopped at 15 and she goes direct again. You see? So she's going to go direct again. A week later, we're going to probably see her back in Libra. So it's 1 week later, April 23rd. She's at 22 degrees in Virgo. You see that? 22 in Virgo. She's direct. And we go again. A week later, look where she's at a week later. April 30th, 20 degrees in Libra. 20 degrees in Libra a week later. Relationships, Libra energy. This can be the law. This can be lawyers. This can be courtrooms. This can be marriages and partnerships, one-on-one relationships, significant ones. So it's where we're, it's business related and, so it's professional and private, right? Those sorts of partnerships. But relationships as far as love can be involved in marriage and contracts. And we think of the courtroom and the justice system, equality and fairness. May 1st, she's retrograding. May 1st, she's doing a retrograde at 21 degrees in Libra energy. You see that right there? 21 in Libra. The nodes are still at 15. Remember I said the nodes do a dance, right? The nodes do a dance. How far is this retrograde going to take us? Let's take a walk to it. Let's go. Time machine. Look what happened. She's back in Virgo. How far is she going to go in Virgo? Here we are, May 15th. She's back in Virgo. How far does she go back? Ooh, it's getting close. She's getting close to where she started. Remember, she started at 15. She goes back to 18 degrees. 18 degrees of Virgo. And then she goes direct. This is May 22nd. 8 degrees of Virgo, direct, May 22nd. So we move her forward again. And this time, she flew forward into Libra really fast. This is why she's so hard to predict, because she's a quick mover. So we go 1 week and she's already in Libra. She went from 18 degrees of Virgo. 7 days later, she's in Libra at 13 degrees, conjunct the South Node. This is May 29th. Conjunct the South Node. Wow. She is one quick lady. So when the moon moves that fast, and we think moon, but we can also think family and mom and the sticks and the bricks, our home, we think the public, and we think of partnerships now. And look, here we are, May, I'm trying to see when she's going to begin her retrograde. We're in June, and June 3rd, June 4th, she begins her retrograde at 16 degrees of Libra. You see that? Her retrograde began at 16 degrees of Libra this time. I'm going to go forward and we're going to see how far back into Virgo she goes. She goes pretty far, further than I thought. This time she's going, she's going over territory that she's going really far back. See, her cycle is so erratic. Wow. She's already in 12 degrees of Virgo. She went back to 12. So she's really covering some areas of our lives that she had already covered in March, February and March. And here she is, June 22nd, back in those areas. She went from Libra all the way back to 12 degrees of Virgo. This is June 22nd. So you see this Black Moon Lilith, she is one tricky lady. I can tell you that. So here we go. We're in July. And she is back. In July, she is back in Libra. When did she enter Libra energy with her speedy butt? Looks like it's going to be right at the beginning of July. July 1st, Black Moon Lilith enters Libra. Woo! She's fast. She does not mess around. So now, lining up with that other video that said she enters Libra in July, now we see she went back and forth multiple times. Multiple times she dipped into Virgo and back into Libra and went back into Virgo. Was it 3 times? Almost 4 times before July. And she usually gets to, from what I saw in the Libra energy, what did she get to? She got to like 19 degrees, I think, right? Or 20 degrees in Libra. So she goes pretty darn far. So this was to clarify that video. This was a follow-up on that video. I'll link that video below because I go deeper into Black Moon Lilith and her traits and characteristics and how to see who she is in your life and how she shows up and understand her better. This was to kind of just go over her movement and her cycle. So remember, weave in the Virgo keywords when Black Moon Lilith, our shadow side, when she's in Virgo, and also when Black Moon Lilith, our shadow side, we need to point the finger at ourselves when we're talking about Black Moon Lilith. We never point the finger at somebody else. It is a situation, an occurrence, an event, something occurs, something happens, and it is our reactionary, however we react, as opposed to responding. That's our Black Moon Lilith. Now, it can change over time because as soon as you recognize it, you will then start responding instead of reacting. Okay, so I'll link that video below so that you can have a little bit more information to pair up with this video. And then if you want to see a part 3 to dive a little bit deeper into her cycle and the timing of her cycle, like for the last 6 months of 2024, just comment below and let me know. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.